Chris Ingham has accused me of lying and manipulating the situation for my own financial gain. Not to mention that their situation themselves have become dire, more worse. Does that make sense? So, without further ado, we're going to look into what's actually been said. He's made a comment in his comment section about me, talking about me, so I'm going to respond to that now, and then we'll get on to everything else that is going wrong with them right now. So, Chris replied to somebody and said this: what everyone buying into this rubbish like that needs to realise is channels like that are doing it to manipulate for their own financial gain. You're earning them money by buying into rubbish. Sorry, that was atrocious English. I'm sorry, it took me a while to get through it. Sorry. Yeah, what can I say? Closing companies is a normal thing that everyone does thousands of times each year. The owner of the Raccoon channel knows this well, as they have done the same process multiple times over and over for failed businesses. Stop buying into fake rubbish and giving people like that your views and money. So, well, first up, closing companies is a normal thing, right? Thousands of companies do it every day, not just every year. But what they don't do is what you've done, right? You've gone into a creditor's voluntary liquidation, which is completely different to just closing your business down. You can only do it, and the only reason you do it is if you are in debt and you can't afford to pay your bills. Otherwise, you would not choose to do it this way. It is, yeah. Then he goes on to say about the owner of the Raccoon channel. Hi, Chris. It's me. Knows this very well after doing this for multiple failed businesses. Not strictly true. Yes, I've had multiple businesses, multiple companies, right, over many years, right, and none of them have failed. They haven't failed. What's happened to them is they've been dissolved either by Company's House or by myself. Either way, they've always just been dissolved. I've never ever gone through a liquidation, either creditors liquidation or a members voluntary liquidation. I've never ever gone through any of those because I've never owed like anybody money on any of my companies ever. Not once ever. So I don't know how many times I can say that. I mean, people can look me up on Company's House. I am there. That's where most people get my address from, by the way. I shouldn't really point that out, but, you know, it is there. It's public information. So what can I do? And that's why Chris has all my details. But also, it's funny that Chris has delved so deeply into it, given that he doesn't care. You know, Sarah's said many times that they don't care about the haters and the trolls. They don't even watch them. But not only does Chris watch, but he responds to comments and knows all about my businesses that have apparently failed. Not one has failed, Chris. I'm sorry, not one. And I'm not just saying that. Genuinely, right? You can look them up. You can look, if you look at any business, any company that's on Company's House under my name, it will say dissolved. They will not say liquidated, because they haven't been. If I'd had that many companies that had been liquidated, I probably would have been struck off as a director and not allowed to open any more companies. Right? I just wouldn't be able to. Unlike you, who is up shit creek without your life's flotation devices, right? But there is water at the end of the bridge. Is that the saying? No. Light at the end of the bridge. No. Light at the end of the tunnel. There's light at the end of the tunnel for you. All you have to do is find £140,000. That's right. Love it. But he has doubled down significantly on the haters, trying to save face, probably for two reasons. One is, no, sorry, three reasons. One, he just is a narcissist. He doesn't want to be seen as being like this brokey that he accuses everybody else of being. Two is that he doesn't want the IFAM to know that there's anything wrong. Right? He's a hero in their eyes. And three, he doesn't want Sarah to know. Right? Obviously, Sarah might already know about all this, in which case that makes her stupid. Right? But is she just finding this all out right now? That's the question. And that's the funny thing. I can imagine Sarah sat there reading tattle and seeing all these screenshots and all the money that they owe, and her whole little brain is like ticking over like a time bomb. It's ready to go off at any minute. So this wasn't the only comment that Chris replied to on that vlog. He replied in depth to Perry. Perry, sweetie, closing a company in the UK does not make someone in trouble or in shit. It's a normal process that thousands of businesses do each year when they are no longer tradable. But Chris, your company owes £140,000. That's not normal business practice. It's not normal to owe the HMRC £91,000. That is definitely not normal. It's not normal to take out a £30,000 government loan that was intended specifically for people struggling during COVID, whilst you buy a caravan with it. That's not normal. And then not to pay it back. Again, not normal. Those are the things that you've been doing. They're not normal, right? Just because other less intelligent clowns want to cause drama where there is none by making stupid fake drama about normal, everyday, legal things like closing a business, that doesn't mean you should lower yourself to believe in it, Perry. The thing is, right, Chris is talking about manipulation, but this is classic manipulation because he knows that Perry is a vulnerable person, right? He does know that. Everybody knows that. He knows it. And he's trying to manipulate Perry into thinking his way and believing it, right? And that's the thing with narcissists. They will try their best to manipulate the situation in their favour, and it's doing a good job with a lot of people, IFAM, and people who aren't delving further into it, because I'm getting a lot of comments, right, directed at me saying that, oh, it's just normal, it's normal, companies do it all the time, it's normal. Then I have to go through the whole rigmarole of explaining to them why it's not normal and why it is. I mean, it's a long process to tell each person individually, right? Chris, sort it out. Just tell your IFAM, back off. This is how it is, right? Tell the truth for once in your life. He goes on to say, we live this life. We're not in any trouble and we're never going to be. Least of all from doing something as completely normal as liquidating a company. Educate yourself on the process and the specifics. Instead of buying into stupid lies, people are manipulating you into believing for their own clicks and financial gain. And with a heart emoji at the end. And that's very important to note because he's saying about other people manipulating him, and then he puts a heart emoji. That's a classic manipulation because he's trying to get Perry on his side. And yeah, Chris, none of this is normal behaviour. Yes, it happens. It happens. It doesn't mean to say that it's the right thing, right? People owe 90 grand or more to HMRC every day. You are right, right? Doesn't make it legal. Doesn't make it normal at all. So this is Chris trying to defend the situation. Obviously, you've got the IFAM, as usual, weighing in to defend him because they don't know any better, and they will defend him no matter what, which is just, it frustrates me, because if my friends were in trouble, and they class the Inghams as their friends, family and friends, don't they? If my friends or family were in trouble financially like this, and it's come out that they owe £140,000 to everybody, right? My reaction wouldn't be just to say, no, nothing to see here, this is all fine and normal, and what is none of your business. I'd be asking them if they're okay. I haven't seen one IFAM ask the Inghams, are you okay? Right? Not one has come out and said, are you okay, Chris? Are you okay, Sarah? I know what you're going through right now is difficult, and is there anything that we can do to help you? Maybe set up a GoFundMe or something, whatever, right? None of them have actually asked if they're okay, because at the end of the day, they don't actually care about their idols that they claim to love. They don't care. And the feeling is mutual from Chris and Sarah. They don't care about the IFAM either. It's a very weird parasocial relationship where neither of them actually give a damn about each other. It's very odd. Now we're going to discuss their house. Now this is a very important part, isn't it, Christopher? So this was posted on Tattle, right? So it is actually true. I believe I looked it up a while ago. Their mortgage lender did actually change. This person said, I've been informed that there are 2 charges on the house. The Mortgage Lender Limited in May 2021, and then Step 1 Finance Limited in March 2023. Also been told that there is no outstanding finance on the RV. Now, what do charges on the house mean? For those of you who are not in the know, having a registered charge on your property means that you have borrowed money against it and must repay the debt as per the agreed terms. Failure to do so can lead to the creditor taking legal action to enforce their rights, which may include repossession and sale of the property to recover the debt. And this little snippet from Step 1 Finance Limited, who they've taken out the mortgage with. A Step 1 mortgage loan is also known as a secured loan or a second mortgage loan. Our mortgage loans are available to qualifying homeowners and owners of buy-to-let properties in England, Scotland and Wales. Right, so basically what it is a second mortgage or a loan secured against their house. Now they took that out in March 2023, and coincidentally in April 2023 the Inghams bought a brand spanking new RV motorhome costing a walloping £100,000. So it's very likely, obviously it's just speculation, but it's very likely in fact that they have borrowed against their house in order to buy this RV. And that I cannot explain just how stupid that actually is, because he is betting on his business being so amazingly brilliant for the rest of his life, so much so that he's willing to risk the loss of his house. £100,000, because we did wonder at the time, how's he managed to afford that? Where's that come from? That's a lot of money, and yeah, where's he got that from? Turns out he's borrowed it against his house. That's bloody stupid, that, isn't it? It's absolutely ridiculously stupid. So, they could lose their house. That's good, isn't it? Sarah, do you understand the ramifications that this little Nomi boy may have caused you? You remember that time when you forgave him for sleeping with a fan? You forgave him for trying to nonce up a 16-year-old. You forgave him for all those things, right? But it's coming back to haunt you now. I bet you're going to be more angry about these financial issues than you were when Chris tried to sleep with a 16-year-old. That's my opinion. I think that's probably true. So if we go back now to the issues surrounding their company and their liquidation and everything else. So I've been given this reply from the liquidators, which kind of is a positive thing. They said, "Thank you for your email, and again, your comments have been noted. For your reference, within each liquidation we deal with, we are required to complete statutory investigations into the director's conduct and company's affairs. We then use our findings to submit a confidential report to the Insolvency Service, a government department who would look into this matter further and see if any action should be taken, i.e. disqualification and fines, etc." So it's not over, Chris. You haven't got away with it. They're going to look into it, and if anything comes to light, they will find it. People are sending them stuff all the time, and that's not going to go in your favor. They're going to find out and they will submit their final report. So it's not over just yet. So finally, a little bit more information about this liquidation and what it might mean for Chris. Now, Chris has banged on for the longest time about AI and ChatGPT and the powers that it's going to make life easier for you in the future. He loves AI and things like that. So we bunged into ChatGPT a comment to ask them, and it goes as follows. Mr. Ingham has said he chose to liquidate the company because they moved the company to Dubai and haven't traded in the UK in over a year, and that they don't owe any money to anyone. So why is it a creditor's voluntary liquidation? So AI punched in the numbers, did a little search, did a little jig and a dance and everything, and came up with this. If Chris Ingham claims we moved the company to Dubai, haven't traded in the UK in over a year, and don't owe anyone any money, but the company was placed into a creditor's voluntary liquidation, a CVL, then his statement doesn't match how UK insolvency law actually works, and this raises major red flags. There you go, Chris. Your favourite AI doesn't agree with you, basically. What is a creditor's voluntary liquidation? CVL. A CVL is only used when a company is insolvent, can't pay its debts as they fall due, because, Chris, if that is true, that means your company is insolvent. Right? We already know it is anyway, by the way, or has more liabilities than assets, and the directors voluntarily acknowledge that the company should be wound up in the interest of creditors. It is not used for simply closing a business that is solvent, because that's what Chris has been telling everybody, that they've simply closed it because because they wanted it gone. It's not used for moving operations abroad. It's not used for that either, Chris. It's not used for tax or admin convenience. None of these things that you have been telling everybody is a normal thing. It's just not normal, is it, Chris? If there were no debts, the correct method would be a members' voluntary liquidation, an MVL, not a CVL. Why his statement doesn't add up? Let's break it down. So he claims, we moved the company to Dubai. The reality is, you can't move a UK company to Dubai. You can open a new company in Dubai, but the UK company must be closed properly under UK law. So hear that, Chris? You can't just move your company to Dubai. You have to close the one down you have and then open the new one completely. We haven't traded in the UK for over a year. It doesn't negate liabilities. Directors are still responsible for winding down UK companies correctly. We don't owe any money. Then why appoint Begbie's Trainer, a top insolvency firm, to conduct a creditor's liquidation? A CVL is only for insolvent companies, not ones that have money, Chris. That's right. AI have spoken. We chose to liquidate voluntarily. Yes, but it is a creditor's voluntary liquidation, not a solvent closure. That means there is or was debt owed or liabilities unpayable. So possible explanations. There are only a few logical reasons why a CVL would be used if someone claims the company is fine. Number 1, they did owe money, e.g. HMRC suppliers, unpaid loans, bounce back loans, etc. 2, they failed to file accounts and were under investigation. 3, they used the company as a tax structure and now it's been wound up to limit scrutiny. 4, they diverted company income to personal use, and a CVL avoids deeper questioning unless the liquidator digs. Now that's an interesting point at the end there, and it's possible what he's trying to do there too. What it could really mean: if the channel and brand still operate and still earn while the UK entity is liquidated, it could be an attempt to abandon debt and restart the business abroad, which, to be fair, I think is probably about spot on. Right? That's exactly what they've tried to do. That's called a Phoenix company in insolvency law, where a business closes with unpaid debts but resumes trading under a new name or company. Phoenixing is legal only with full transparency and legal and illegal if assets were hidden or transferred without paying creditors. Exactly what they've done. So basically a Phoenix company, Phoenixing. So what you can do if you're considering reporting concerns, you now have evidence that the company has been shut via CVL. Yet public statements suggest they are denying debt and still operating under the same brand. This is exactly the kind of case a liquidator must investigate. You can pass this information to the liquidators confidentially, so you can do that. That's been done by a lot of people, and if you have information or details that you feel the liquidator should know, just let them know. Pop them an email. I'm sure they will be glad of your assistance. Why this statement is a problem. Chris Inghams says they liquidated the UK company not due to financial issues but to prevent public oversight. He claims the company still earns high six figures but chose liquidation to avoid transparency. He believes liquidation is just something you do to shut down an unused company, when in reality, a creditor's voluntary liquidation is only for insolvent companies, not ones thriving better than ever. If what he says is true, he should have used a member's voluntary liquidation, the route used when a company is solvent and has no debt. Using a CVL for a profitable solvent company may indicate misrepresentation during the liquidation process, potential misconduct, especially if assets were moved overseas while leaving liabilities behind, unintentional misuse of insolvency law to escape scrutiny, which liquidators are required to investigate. So those of you who are thinking that the liquidators are doing nothing and the Inghams are going to get away with it, if they are being deceitful, right, the liquidators will find out, especially with the help of public and, stuff like that. Chris, I don't think you're going to get away with this one. It's a lot of a problem for you. And Sarah probably knows about it by now. I know you're trying to spin her online probably, and she's falling for it maybe. But in time she won't. So yeah, that is the situation that they find themselves in. We've learned that Chris is trying to double down on trying to manipulate people into believing his stories, which, you know, it's not lies, it's not fake news, it is public record, right? The government are doing this to you, nobody else. Well, sorry, clarify that. You are doing this to you. The government are going to catch up with you, and a very lot of bad things might just be on their way for you. That's something to look forward to, isn't it? I wonder if they're going to be allowed back into the UK at this rate. Or they will be allowed back in, but will they get away with going back in? That's the question. Oh, just have to find out, won't we, Christopher? Oh, so they also might lose their house. That's another possibility, isn't it? It's looking grim for Chris and Sarah Ingham. Oh dear, oh dear. All those years of trying to portray that you are doing amazingly well, and the haters are going to hate, right? But it seems like they're struggling a very lot, to the tune of £140,000, plus whatever else comes their way. Oh dear, never mind now. If you have appreciated this video, please give it a massive thumbs up, comment all of your thoughts about it down below, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. And follow this story, because I'm sure it's going to rumble on and on and on. We're going to keep covering it because new things keep coming out all the time. It's very exciting. Take care of yourselves, and bye-bye.